Okay.
All right. Now I think we can move into the consent docket. So I'll go ahead and do the normal blurb. Thank you everybody who is here attending this hearing on March 23rd. You're attending the Board of Municipal and Zoning Appeals docket. Essentially, if you've logged into WebEx, you notice that you are here as an attendee. You should be able to see myself, various members of the board as we're coming in and out. If when your case is called, I'll make you a panelist and your camera will be functional. You'll be able to turn it on. We will be able to see and hear you. If you're likely to testify in support or opposition of a matter, there's two ways you wish to testify. Make sure that you put a message in the chat or you raise your hand. And I'm also asking Simon to help me monitor that as well. The order of testimony goes as follows. The applicant goes first, any testimony in support next, opposition finally, but then the applicant gets to get the last word and testimony then closes. If you have any issues with WebEx during this hearing, you can call our office and someone hopefully should be able to help you. Our number is 410-396-4301. If you're having technical difficulties and can't participate, please email me explaining your technical difficulties. Or you can email bmza@baltimorecity.gov. We have our main member or our main mailbox now, which I'm trying to direct all traffic to. So it doesn't just go to one person. We've got multiple people monitoring that mailbox. All right, and I'll turn it over to the chair to get the meeting started.
Okay, the chair is going to be here in voice only because I've got a technical issue with my video. So, for the last...
I guess then I need to identify consent docket versus contested docket. We have two contested matters on the agenda for today, and that is, hold on one second. The 2020-245, 2700 to 2726 May Street. And if you recall, we're rehearing 2020-233, 507 South Durham in order for the applicant to present additional information regarding uniqueness. Those are the only two contested matters on the docket today.
Okay, thank you. I guess I didn't give the introductory information. The board will vote on each case, other than the consent matters, which we already know, but on those two matters that will remain, we'll vote on each case and make a decision at the end of the docket. You can feel free to hang on the line and listen to that deliberation, although you can participate in it. Otherwise, you can call the BMZ office tomorrow morning after 9 a.m. Numbers 410-396-4301. You should receive the resolution to the mail within 30 days, but we ask that you not do any work until your resolution is received. Certainly don't do any work within Baltimore City without pulling the proper permits. There are no postponements. We do have these consent matters, and we'll get into those now. First case on the consent docket is 2020-241, 2051 Pennsylvania Avenue. The appellant is Taishika Bailey. And there's a request to use the first and second floors of the existing structure as a beauty salon and academy.
Okay.
I guess we'll clarify whether or not the academy request is still pending.
All right.
But I will hear from staff and planning.
Miss Bailey is also on the line, so at this time I'm going to go ahead and make her a panelist so I don't lose her. Miss Bailey, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right, hold on one second and we'll get right to you.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. French, would you like to go first?
Thank you. Yes, Martin French from the Baltimore City Planning Department. Planning Department has no comment on this application. However, we are informally supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
Per staff report, this is a beauty salon is permitted as a personal services establishment An academy all by itself isn't, but it doesn't mean that a beauty salon cannot act not only as a beauty salon, but also a training for new hairstylists or beauty consultants. So it is a permitted in C1 as a personal services establishment. So I'll get Ms. Bailey unmuted. Ms. Bailey?
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bailey. Since you're on the consent docket, I'm sorry?
Hi.
Hi. Since you're on the consent docket, the only question that I have for you is there anything you'd like to add to your application at this time?
No.
Okay. Well, the board, having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. And that concludes your matter.
Okay, so everything has been accepted?
Yes, ma'am. What will happen is you'll receive a resolution once it is drafted, and that will give you the ability to move forward with your permit. So as Mr. Field said in the beginning, you need to get your permits first.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Good luck to you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you,
Uh,
you too.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on now. Next case.
Case number 2020. That's 241. Wait a minute. That was just what I did.
That was
2020-242. Wait a minute. I'm missing the page. But anyway, 2020-242, 1900 Root Hill Avenue. The appellant is Aaron Eyob. This is a request to use the premises as a multifamily dwelling consisting of 3 dwelling units. Report from staff or planning.
Planning Department has no objection to this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
And again, staff report, multifamily permitted use subject to applicable bulk regulations. This is a variance required for minimum rear yard feet of 20 feet. So there's with a reduction of not less than 16 feet. So this is a rear yard variance. And I have the applicant on the line and I will unmute him. Mr. Eyob, I'm sorry did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes.
Oh,
You
good.
got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
How are
Good
you?
afternoon.
morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Eyob.
Okay.
Again, you're on the consent docket, so I have one primary question for you. Is there anything you'd like to add to your application at this time?
No, thank you for the opportunity. And it's metered for a 4-meter 3-unit plus basement, and all the BG is done, and the Baltimore City inspection was done accordingly also. And we have a fire exit and a pad in the back. We can use it as a parking also.
Okay, very well. I'll have all those things in order. The board, having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Next case on the consent docket is case number 2020-243, 1000 Key Highway East. The appellant is J.R. Woolman, LLC, care of Joseph Woolman. This is a request to use the premises as offices and parking spaces. I'll hear from staff or planning if there's any.
Planning Department reviewed this application, noted that this property is in the Chesapeake Bay critical area. It is a permitted use at the present time. It is adjacent to the Key Highway South Urban Renewal Plan area. The department recommends that approval of the application be subject to the condition that the landscaping of 1000 Key Highway East is completed and maintained in accordance with requirements of the landscape manual as relate to parking lots. Thank you.
In addition, there's 2 letters of support, one from Jana Broadbent, president of the Key Highway Community Association, submitted a letter in support of this application. In addition, we received an email from Councilman Eric Costello to voice his strong support for the appeal.
Great.
And I believe we have Mr. Woolman on the line, and he is unmuted.
Good afternoon, Mr. Woolman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Mr. Woolman, first I'll ask, having heard the conditions imposed by or suggested by planning, is your client amenable to those conditions?
Yes, I appreciate Mr. French providing me with a copy of his staff report in advance of the hearing. I discussed the conditions with my client. We are not opposed to those conditions.
Very well. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your application at this time?
Nothing other than I also want to join the Atlas Turner fan club, please.
Awesome. Growing fan club, no doubt. Well, Mr. Woolman, thank you. Having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal.
Thank you very much.
Great day. All right. Next matter on the consent docket, case number 2020-244, 748 East 37th Street. The appellant is Caressa Bivins, and this is a request to construct a fence that will be 6 feet in height. And I'll hear any staff or planning reports we may have before we get in, Ms. Bivins.
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
This is again for a fence that's 6 feet in height. It's not a permitted encroachment into a required rear yard in an R7 district. Currently there is I believe a 3-foot chain link fence around the property, and the applicant is proposing a fence that will be replaced at 6 foot high. I believe the basis for the reason why she has to seek a variance is because this is a corner lot, and as high as the fence would be. So it would, the board can grant the variance when it affords the property owner a certain relief from unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty. And there was no opposition, but we have Miss Caressa Bivins on the line as the applicant, and I will unmute her. Miss Bivins, can you hear us? Like she's called in too, so I'm going to elevate this other one.
Okay.
Panelist. Miss Bivins?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Bivins. We're here on the consent docket for your request for the 6 foot high fence on your property. What is the reason for the 6 foot in height?
Well, at the moment, I actually have a grandfathered in old fence. That's probably more like 40, well, about 5.5 to 4.5 feet. I'm sorry, 4.5 feet tall. The grandfathered in because it's been up there so long. But I'm requesting the 6 foot fence now because that fence has really deteriorated, and I have a pit bull that can now go under the gate, slide under the gate, or like she's very aggressive, and I just want to make my community and neighborhood safer and actually beautiful too, because I'm not just going to get a regular vertical fence. I want to do something nice like a horizontal fence, really put an investment in it and get licensed a contractor to do it right. So it's part beautifying the neighborhood and part security for
Sure.
my dog also. And
All
the
right.
way my house sits, it's still like corners off. Like it still would not obstruct view coming out of the alley, because you still have to come out past my home. And it's just my fence really has had its days, and now it's just trying to do something better looking, better, just modern. And I just want to beautify the area at the same time protecting my property and Doug and stuff. Even my Doug has been tased at, maced, things thrown
Okay.
at her. She's came in the house bleeding from the head. So it's
Right.
part, a lot of reasons. But I
Great.
want to do
What?
something nice.
Well, I appreciate you sharing those. You are on the consent docket. We've concluded that your application is sufficient to be approved. But I didn't see in the record what the basis for the fence, the height is. So I appreciate you And if there's nothing else you'd like to add, the board having heard your appeal, again, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you.
Oh, yes, that's it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
All right.
Ms. Bivins.
Have a great day.
You too.
Right. Next case on the consent docket is case number 2020-246, 1140 Riverside Avenue. And the appellant is Russell Walter, and this is a request to construct a deck at the first floor rear of the premises. And I'll hear any staff or planning reports you may have.
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
Again, this is just a request for a minimum rear yard variance request and also a lot coverage variance request in order to construct the deck. And let me see if I can find Mr. Russell. There we go. Mr. Walter, I am making you a panelist. Oops, I think I just muted you. Mr. Walter, can you hear us?
I can. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walter. We're here on the consent docket for your property at 1140 Riverside Avenue. And the one question I have for you is there anything you'd like to add to your application at this time?
No, I don't believe so. Thank you.
Very well. Well, the board having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You did take care. All right. Moving on. The next case on the consent docket is case number 2020-250, 1801 through 1825 East Oliver Street. The appellant is STV Incorporated, care of Addison Palmer. This is a request to subdivide the lot into 4 parcels while retaining the structure. And I'll hear any staff or planning reports you made.
Planning Department reviewed this application, noted that subdivision does require approval by the Planning Commission, and therefore, planning staff have been working with the applicant on preparing an approvable subdivision plan for presentation to the Planning Commission. The Department of Planning recommends approval of the application, subject to the condition that all improvements are completed and maintained in accordance with the subdivision and development plans that are approved by the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brett.
Staff report recommends the same, just nothing changed, and following along with what was approved by Planning Commission and what's within the staff report. And I've got Mr. Addison Palmer, and you are present and unmuted as the applicant.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I do want to just emphasize that as part of this pending subdivision, the existing buildings that require the variances on the 3 lots are existing buildings. The subdivision is needed for financing purposes, and we feel the board should find no objection if the variance needed per the pending subdivision.
All right. Well, Mr. Palmer, you're in luck today because the board, having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. So we're all
Thank
good. All right.
Very good.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Moving on, case number 2020-251, 712 Winston Avenue. The appellant is Ellis Chris Properties, LLC, care of Blaine Taylor. And this is a request to convert a former retail use on the first floor. Okay. I'll hear from staff and or planning.
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
This is it's already considered a multifamily dwelling, so converting a commercial use into another residential use doesn't necessarily change the definition of a multifamily dwelling. It's simply changing the use of one unit as required for board approval.
Good.
And the applicant is Chris Elliott Properties. Let's see if I can find. Is there anyone here for Chris Elliott Properties for this particular petition for 712 Winston Avenue? Please raise your hand or put something in the chat if you're a call-in user. All right, let's try this call. Let's see. Are you here for 712? Winston? No. Let's see, I don't have any other call-in users. Oh, wait, here we go. All right, Billye, yes. Are you here for 712, Winston?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Billye Sanford. Okay, thank you. Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't see the full number in there.
All right. Good afternoon. Well, the first question, and maybe only question, is there anything else you'd like to add to your application at this time?
No, there isn't.
Okay. Well, the board, having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Moving on, case number 2020-252, 2912 through 2914 Pulaski Highway. The appellant is the Southeast Community Development Corporation. This is a request to use the premises as a community center. Now hear from staff and planning, or planning and staff.
Planning Department has reviewed this application and is supportive of it, recommends approval of the application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this is a conditional use and must come to the board in order for the board to make a determination. The board has the ability to impose any kind of conditions related to establishment, location, construction, maintenance, or operation, or use any condition, restriction, or limitation that it considers necessary for the protection of the public interest. All right, and I've got, let's see, Molly McCullagh, who I've elevated as a panelist, who's on the application. Ms. McCullagh?
I'm here. I have nothing to add at this point.
Good afternoon, Ms. McCullagh. So I understand this is to use as a community center for the Baltimore Bike Experience Youth Workshop.
That's right.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to your application at this time?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the board having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. All right. And final case on the consent docket is case number 2020-253, 622 East Ford Avenue. The appellant is Praful Patel, and this is a request to construct a basement rear. I think that's correct.
I think it's dwelling addition at the basement rear, and decks
Okay.
on the first and second story of the rear.
Yeah, let's see. Construct a garage addition on the rear ground level, decks on the rear first and second stories. Got it. Okay. Any staff or planning report?
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
Here for a variance for lot coverage, where the proposal would increase lot coverage to 66%. So it's essentially a variance of 6% that's required. The maximum lot coverage under the code is 60%. And let's see off Mr. Patel. If you are here for, oh, there we go. Is anybody here for Mr. Patel? Oh, there you are. I see you. Let me make you a panelist. Actually, I'm going to unmute you so you can get started. Mr. Patel.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Patel. We're here on the consent docket for your property at 622 East Ford Avenue. And I just want to ask, do you have anything else you'd like to add to your application at this time?
No, nothing right now.
Terrific. Well, the board having heard your appeal, we believe we have sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So that concludes the consent docket. We'll go to the regular docket. We have a couple of matters there. Let's see. Pick it up with case number 2020-233, 507 South Durham Street. The appellant is Adam Carvalho, and this again is a request to construct a 4-story single-family row house. This matter has been before us previously, but I'll let Ern tee that up for.
Yep, I just made Mr. Carvalho a panelist. This matter was here previously on the contested docket. The board decided to bring it back at deliberation time to allow the applicant to identify the uniqueness requirements in order for the board to make its determination.
Good. Is there anything you need to add, Mr. French, at this time, or no? Just pick up on the.
No, thank you. The planning department stands by its previous report.
Very well, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Carvalho.
Good afternoon.
And so, as Ms. Byrne mentioned, we're here on the continuation of this matter to hear what information you had to present regarding uniqueness with regard to this property on the request.
Sure. Do I have the ability to share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will pass you the ball.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you. This property is an existing lot located on South Durham Street, and we presented previously. We've also received approval from the chat board as well as the Fells Point Design Review Committee. And I understand that the purpose of us returning today is to speak on the uniqueness of this property. The subject property I'm presenting is indicated by the yellow rectangle on the site. As you can see, it is one of the widest lots along Durham Street, and it is unique in that the existing property has a surface lot as well as a 2-car garage in the rear. We are redeveloping this property to serve as a single-family house with a double-car garage. We feel that the property provides a unique challenge with design due to its unique width on this site. The request as far as how it fits in with the neighboring context, we've worked very closely with the Fells Point Design Review Committee as well as CHAP despite the bulk of the property, you'll see in these photorealistic renderings, we've inserted a 3-dimensional model of the proposed property where we're aligning the cornices. The penthouse, if you will, the 4th floor is set back 27 feet from the front. It will not be visible from any public right-of-way. And we feel that given the unique challenges of this property with respect to width, we've been able to design a very sort of a tastefully designed addition to this street that closes off a long present missing tooth, if you will, along the street. And we've looked at accommodating for the scale of the property with the adjoining properties. So it's for that reasons that we feel that this is a unique site and a variance is appropriate, for the height and rear setback. And again, to remind the height that we are asking for is 39 feet, whereas the board does have it within their purview to grant up to 45 feet. We are allowed 35 feet as a matter of right. We're asking for a 4-foot. We've reduced the scale of this property quite a bit from the original design in order to fit in with the context of the surrounding neighboring properties.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Carvalho. Any questions of Mr. Carvalho from the board at this time?
No.
None from me.
All right. Who else do we have?
All right, I'll go through the attendees to see if we have anyone here. If you are an attendee and you wish to speak regarding this particular property, please either raise your hand or put a message in the hat. We have one call-in user. If you hear two beeps and you'd like to testify, please speak. So far, we do not have, it looks like anybody who wishes to speak on this issue. There was an individual who spoke last time, and which is why we brought Mr. Carbello back to discuss the uniqueness aspect.
Right.
So I don't see anything in the chat and no one raising their hand.
All right. Well, we will include matter 2020-233. Mr. Carbello, thank you for additional information. Appreciate it. We'll take the matter up in deliberation.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And moving on to the third contested matter and the last matter on the docket for today, 2020-245, 2700 through 2726 Beach Street.
Yes.
The appellants. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. 2700 through 2726 Main Street. Michael Burton is the appellant, and this is the request to construct a 3-story multifamily apartment building. And I'll hear from staff and or planning in either order.
Thank you. Planning Department has reviewed this application and has been working with the applicant to complete it. The applicant does need to complete the process of site plan review. The structure is not something that the Planning Department opposes. The department recommends that approval of the application, if granted, be subject to the condition that the proposed improvements are completed in accordance with site development and landscaping plans approved by the Department of Planning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. French.
There are actually several letters in support for this application. If the board recalls, this actually came before the board in 2017. This is constructing a 3-story multifamily apartment building. It was originally approved by the board for 21 units. The reason it is back before the board is so that it can be to add an additional residential unit. So it's the conversion to create an efficiency. And because they're adding the additional residential unit, they have to get a greater lot area variance for adding that additional unit. So this is why this property is back before the board. There are 3 letters of support, one from the Greater Remington Improvement Association that supports the increase from 21 units to 22 units with 23 parking spaces. One from the Charles Village Civic Association, which I think this actually falls in Charles Village, again, supports the increase of the additional units. And then we have the original letter from 2017 from the Greater Remington Association that supported the construction. The one letter that we received in opposition was from Miss Joan Floyd, saying that she objected to the appeal on the grounds of insufficient information has been provided to nearby residents and the general public based on the posting. She said there's already a 3-story apartment building on the site in advanced stage of construction. The sign posted on the property says construct 3-story multi-family apartment building. They identified 22 units in the sign, but didn't necessarily identify that it was a lot area variance for this one additional unit. So that's really the only reason that they're here. So the only opposition we got was over the content of the sign as not alerting accurately what was going on. Let's see. So let's start with, I don't see Mr. Burton, but I'm sure someone is here for Mr. Burton. If you could raise your hand or throw something in the chat so that I can put you on. Because let's see. Simon, am I missing anybody?
I can't see anyone.
This is, of course, our last one.
Correct.
And I talked to Mr. Burton yesterday, and I was assured that he would be here. Let's see. I'm just going to go through, and we've got a couple people here. I'm going to unmute. If you're here for
Sure.
this, please speak up. Let's see. Ms. Bright, are you here for this matter? Oh, all right. Ms. Carey, are you here for this matter? Are you here for this matter? No. Let's try the call-in user. Call-in user, are you here for this matter? Mr. Guntz, are you here for this matter? Ms. McCullagh or Mr. McCullagh, are you here for this matter?
No, I'm not.
Oh, it's Patrick. All right. All right. I see you. He can't figure out. He's not. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. Patrick. I had a feeling it was you. Patrick, can you hear us? All right. You're in here twice. I'm going to make you a panelist twice.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to figure out how to raise my hand and get your attention, Catherine.
That is okay. I had a feeling it was you because you were in here twice, but I hadn't gotten to the P's yet.
Gotcha.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Lundberg.
Great. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for the time and thank you for your review. Just to kind of back up a second, so this is my opportunity to speak on this as well on behalf of the applicant, correct?
That's correct. Go ahead, sir.
Gotcha. Thank you, guys. So just to reinforce what Ms. Byrne was already saying, but we've been working with the Charles Village Civic Association for years now on this property, and I'm glad that they provided the original letter in support of the consolidation and new construction of the 21-unit apartment building. And we met with them again in early December of this year, after which they submitted an updated letter to support the addition of a single residential unit as well. And as noted, this appeal is for a lot area increase. There's no change to the building footprint or the site plan as a result of this single unit addition. On the note of the posting, we posted the sign and the language exactly as it was provided to us from BMZA. In the updated permit application for this appeal for the additional unit, we noted the addition of a single residential unit at the ground floor. It might have just been a communication error and something that wasn't flagged in the process, but I just wanted to note and reinforce that, we posted the sign as it was provided to us by BMZA.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Lundberg, for that information.
And I can confirm that the text that he got was the text that was on the application and what was the minimum that we said he needed to put on the sign.
Very well. I don't have any questions for you, Mr. Lundberg. I'm here with the project and the history of it, and appreciate the information that you provided. Would have any questions of Mr. Lundberg?
No.
All right. Very well. Do we need to check to see if there are any callers, Ms. Byrne, for this? You're muted.
I was muted, sorry.
As you were.
Thank goodness Simon is literally right next door and he's yelling at me. Katie, you're muted. All right, so let's try call-in user again. If you heard two beeps, you wish to testify, please speak. If anyone else wishes to testify, please put a message in the chat or please raise your hand. We have, I think, about 5 people left on the call. Ms. Floyd emailed her objection and said that what's in her email stands. So she didn't say if she was going to be here or not.
Good.
And I don't see anyone raising their hand, and I don't see anything else in the chat.
Great. I think that'll be it. Mr. Lundberg, unless you have anything else you'd like to add, we'll conclude this presentation and appreciate you coming in to add to it. And with that, we'll take this up in deliberation. With that, we'll conclude today's docket for the BMZA.
Thank you, everybody. Nothing else to add on my end.
All right. Thank you.